All right, now we're going to predict Hell in a Cell. Now, again, some people on this podcast have not done the best with predictions. Yeah. Some people on this podcast have just been predicting out of their ass and getting it right. So, we'll see how we fare this time around. First up, we've got a no-holds-barred match with Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin.
Well, easily, this was added just yesterday. So, just Friday before the pay-per-view. For reference for people in the future. But I think it's easy that you have to go with Madcap. They took the ugly suspenders off. He's a little bit more, he's serious, he's intense, he wants to hurt Corbin. There's no holds barred. Only way I can see Corbin winning this is if they're going to debut another sidekick for Corbin to help him, man. I don't necessarily have any picks because the SmackDown roster is thin as hell right now. So, yeah. I think Cap is going to win. It's a smart move to give him a big win. And maybe this Corbin stuff is finally over. But yeah, no holds barred. I think you have Cap go over.
I agree. Grudge match. Babyface got to win. Next up, we've got Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan.
Okay, it's going to be some mark saying you said the name wrong. So
I did it on purpose.
I know. We know that. But
okay, I'll do it right.
Just do it right.
Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Liv Morgan versus the Judgment Day. I can never have fun here.
You're right, but I'm sorry, but this goes out to the wrestling community. And if you haven't noticed about these marks out here, you can't do that. Because they take everything seriously.
I also can't call them by their government name, even though Liv has such a great government name.
By the way, it could be a good wrestling name.
It will.
Not could be. It would be. Come on, Daddy-O?
Daddy-O is such a cool last name.
Awesome. Anyway.
Somebody won the name lottery.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going with Judgment Day here, though. I think a new member will be probably presenting themselves. Edge has basically begged for it at this point, and he's been teasing people for weeks. I don't necessarily know who. Maybe Ciampa makes sense. I'm not mad at I've seen a fan post, and ever since I heard, I was like, it makes a lot of sense that you have Finn. He has the demon. He has already the black gear and turning on AJ. But I just feel like AJ at that point is hard. I feel like, man, we just all gotta they just gonna need some therapy if Finn turn on them. If you see what I'm trying to say. But they pretty much asked AJ to join too. So I don't know what the end goal is here, but Judgment Day is definitely going over. Rhea Ripley is most likely going to pin Liv here again, maybe with the distraction of a new member. And then I don't know what the hell. If it's not one of them, if it's not Finn or AJ or whatever, then I don't know what the hell they're going to do. They're going to recruit some other mystery person is going to have a problem with them. Trying to think who's in a storyline with somebody else that could jump in, but off the top of my head, I got nothing. So we'll see. We'll see what actually happens here. Judgment Day will win, and they will add another member, though.
I agree, but does that mean that this is not over? Because if we keep adding members, AJ needs to do something. Like
you said, yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel bad for him. I don't necessarily know what do you do, and I'm with you. I think you actually just end it almost with this one, or that's why I say it's tough. It's really tough to do it because I don't think AJ and Liv and Finn will end up prevailing either way.
No,
you see what I'm saying? At the end, when this feud is over, Judgment Day is going to end up standing.
Yeah,
so they're going to be the last people standing.
So we should just end it.
Yeah, I think maybe you just end it after this, but I don't know. We'll see. That's the only thing I can say. Because like you said, it has been a slaughter at this point.
Yeah, just terrible. Okay, next up, we've got Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the WWE United States Championship. It's obvious, guys.
Again, in Chicago, would you give Ali that for the moment? No. And he probably not, and he doesn't keep it much. And in theory, gets it back maybe even the next night. No. They've done it before. I can see them doing it just like to make people happy. But they've never rewarded like a person. You know what I mean? Like usually you have to earn your way back. Yeah, they're gonna make you earn your way up to a title. Petty. They wouldn't reward Ali so quickly after their problem that they had with each other. And I also just don't necessarily think that they want Theory to lose either. Anyway, Theory is probably gonna have this belt a while for a nice little run. Even though I don't, like I said, I wouldn't mind it if Ali Shock won it and then like Theory got it back on something. As a matter of fact, they actually can do this, and Theory still end up winning the title back. Like Theory loses the match, and then like Vince come out, restarts the match, and then they screw him and he wins it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Either way it go, I'm pretty sure the Miz is gonna have something to do with this anyway. So yeah, Ali is screwed.
Yes, he is. And it's two things.
Going with Theory.
Two things for certain. WWE will make you lose on your birthday, and they will make you lose in your hometown.
Yeah, they have no problem with booking that.
None. And they're petty. So definitely going to give it to Theory on that one. Then we've got this weird situation. Ezekiel, formerly known as Elias, because that's exactly what it is, versus Kevin Owens.
Yeah, this is tougher than I expected it to be, honestly, going into it. But after a little bit of mulling, after thinking about it a long time, and as much as I love Kevin Owens here, I think the right thing to do is to give this victory to Zeke. I have no problem with Kevin winning here because I love Kevin. But the right thing to do here is to give it to Zeke, establish the brother. Give him a victory, especially since he's going to be wrestling more and being more serious as a wrestler. And then maybe you could just slowly but surely ease out of the Elias storyline. No one brings it up ever again after he beats Kevin Owens.
We put it to rest.
Yeah, you put it to rest, and Zeke is established as Zeke, and Elias' brother. So we'll just leave it at that, Yeah. And I think that's the best way you do this. Kevin has been great. He sold everything perfectly fine. I've been generally entertained and genuinely entertained. Generally and genuinely. So, I like what they've done so far, but I think Zeke is the right win.
I agree. We've been agreeing a lot here. So
this was not that hard to predict.
Not go wrong.
Don't worry. Don't feel bad. This was not that hard to predict. If we're wrong, we're all going to be wrong.
Yeah, we're all going to be wrong.
This has been one of those cards.
This is one of those cards that just, you feel it in your gut how something's going to go because the rest of the options or the possibilities and the
you
choices,
can see them happening, but that's like...
It don't make sense.
Outside of what WWE usually do.
Yeah.
Every other way, like you see other ways of going about it, but usually WWE wouldn't go that way. Maybe Ezekiel just has a great match and then he still loses to Kevin. But it's like, what does that do for Zeke? What does that do for any of them?
Yeah.
Because then that means, what does that mean? Does that mean that confirms that that Ezekiel is not? Or that he is Elias or something? You see what I'm saying? Like, what does that actually prove? I think we're better off if we just let Zeke win and establish him as the brother.
Yeah, it just makes your brain hurt trying to think about that. Next
Good
up.
point.
We've got a handicap match with Bobby Lashley versus Omaze and MVP. This one, again, it's kind of obvious. You don't throw another person in there.
Yeah, and we know you guys don't want Omaze to keep getting pinned. Keep I think Bobby does enough to ward Omaze off, and MVP is the one who takes the fall here. I think that's why he's here. Unfortunately, maybe this continues it, but I think if Bobby can get his hands on P, that can solve this, right? We can be done with this, right? He doesn't have to fight Omaze again.
Then we transfer it to Omaze having to get rid of MVP because MVP didn't have to be in this match. This is a grudge match, right?
Yeah, in a way, it's true.
So
I don't think that's gonna happen though.
It's probably not
because Omaze needs him still because they don't trust Omaze on the mic.
I just want to be optimistic.
He probably won't leave P until they feel like they trust him on the mic.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I agree though. Bob's gonna win this. Then you got this man out here being called by his government.
Roberto.
MVP gotta go. He gotta go down. Going down, baby. Anyway. Raw Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Again, triple threat match.
Yeah, another match where all the other outcomes, like Asuka winning the championship again, probably would be cool. I don't know why would you go back to Becky right after her long reign. So I don't see that happening. But again, it just does not make much sense with Bianca's reign still being in its infancy. You know what I mean? She hasn't really done much yet. Hasn't had a chance to sink her teeth into another feud.
We're bringing that back.
Yeah, I'm bringing sinking teeth into it back. But yeah, Bianca is definitely winning this match. She's by far, I think, everyone's favorite. At least she should be, even though this is going to be a banger, whether it's first, whether it's last, wherever they decide to place it. This is going to be awesome as far as wrestling goes. But Bianca has to win, right?
I agree. That's why you make it a triple threat.
Becky has to take the pin.
Yes. Asuka just
keep her losing streak going, in my opinion. I mean, other than, I guess technically the losing streak is over because she did beat Asuka to get in the match, but we saw how that happened. It wasn't, it was one of those distraction
she's still crazy
situations. And yes, I think making her lose another big match
for character
will spiral her even further. Right. And I think that's only going to help.
Okay. Last up, the main event, as Mark Henry would say. Hell in a Cell match, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. This is a grudge match. So, what do you think? What you think?
This is the third one, the final installment, you would assume, here. And Cody basically put it plainly. He knows that Seth Rollins has a chance to go 0-3 against him. And I think that is the move you go with. I'm going with Cody Rhodes here. I think he has to win this to continue, because he's still talking about being uncrowned champion. He's talking about, all these things he wants to do. I think you can continue to build off that better with the win. If he loses here, I've never seen a Hell in a Cell continue a feud. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen a Hell in a Cell continue a feud. So it's like, so I'm pretty sure if Seth wins, then it's over also. So I'm like, where do you go next when it comes to that? What does Cody do next? When this happens, like what happens? I think you have more options with Seth after he loses this match than you possibly have after he wins it. I think if he wins it, you have to probably continue it, right? Most likely, or at least down the line, you can see it being continued. And I think you could do that even if Seth lose. So all the pros, in my opinion, just seem we're going ahead and giving Cody this, continuing to establish him as one of those main event stars along with Seth. Because Seth is already there. Losing to Cody 3 times in a row is not going to drop his stock, make him not one of the best in the world and make him not one of the best in WWE. So I think in the cell, since this is usually how they cap off feuds, be a big, maybe even a bloody, because Cody loves the blade, maybe a bloody dramatic match. I don't know if WWE's going to let him go AEW Cody blood, but we'll see. What's allowed.
Oh, God.
But yeah, man, I think Cody's gonna win. And Cody, okay, never mind. I'm thinking about a cage. Cody's not gonna flip off this. He better not. You crazy as hell. I was thinking about the cage that he flipped off in AEW. Like, he might do a backflip, a moonsault, but he's not that crazy. He's not gonna do it this time, most likely.
He's not Jeff.
But it's gonna be some crazy moment, something that we will probably remember, because these guys are geniuses. So I think it'll be fun either way. I have no problem with either person winning. Even though I think I'm rooting for Cody, and I think just continue to build Cody up. All of this stopping and start booking with baby faces is not good long term, especially if you want Cody to stand to Roman eventually. Keep building them up. I don't think he needs to lose here.
I agree with you, but I'm all about consistency, and I'm trying to stick it to Cody. Seth, you got this. Scrape his face against the cage. I want to see you bleed.
Did you pick Seth at back
every time?
Back? So you pick Seth every time, and you being consistent. I just want to caution you that line of thought is why AJ Styles has screwed me twice in this feud he's in. So I'm just saying.
I know.
We'll see. Maybe this is the one for you. Maybe this is the one, and Seth finally gets a victory back. But another way to look at this too is that the first match was decisive, but you can say Seth was surprised. The second match was a roll up, and Cody did kind of grab the tights, but it was after Seth grabbed them, so it was what it was.
Tit
there
for tat.
Yeah, it was what it was. But again, close call, right? Mm-hmm. This one has to be decisive either way, and I think the person who gains the most from a decisive win
is Cody Rhodes.
Is Cody here.
Okay, I agree. Like I said, I agree, but I'm sticking to my guns with Seth.